Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This session focuses on English versus Urdu in Pakistan. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would be able to understand the status and positioning of English and Urdu languages in relation to each other in the Pakistani context. Well, my dear students, in order to understand the current positioning of English and Urdu, both of these languages in Pakistan, we need to understand the historical background and context of each of these languages. It is very interesting that both of these languages have a history in the subcontinent. Both belong to some kind of, idea of relating to the rulers. Urdu language belongs to the times of Muslim rule in the subcontinent, whereas English language is associated with the colonial experience in the subcontinent and the British rule. Now, with some kind of, shared experience of being the languages of rulers, still when we think of their the applications of English and Urdu language in today's Pakistan and the implications of that, we find a lot of differences in the use and the functionalities of these languages. In fact, on the linguistic hierarchy, English comes at the top and Urdu is followed by that, whereas the regional languages of Pakistan or the local vernaculars, they come at the bottom. This positioning of English at the top and this, second position of Urdu in all this context is of great sociolinguistic significance. And in fact, the purpose of the session also is to enable you to understand the sociolinguistic aspects of, this positioning. In terms of language, power, and sociolinguistics, when we look at how, these positions are determined in the Pakistani context, it becomes really, really important and interesting because, they are used as certain kinds of identity markers in certain situations. For example, when it comes to Urdu, it is used for, certain ideas of nationalism. It is also used to promote certain kind of ideologies that are related to nation and nationalism. In fact, the idea of the creation of Pakistan and as it was related to Urdu language as the, language related to national ideology serves as a backdrop for this kind of positioning. So, whenever it comes to create a personal or, a collective identity as a representative of a nation or as a nation, Urdu language is used as a tool to depict that. On the other hand, when we look at the use of English language, it is used to create certain westernized ideologies. It is used to create certain modernized ideologies, and it is also used as a determiner of social status of a person or a particular social class within the community. There are certain factors with reference to the language policy in Pakistan and the placement of English and Urdu language that have played their role in that. Throughout the history of Pakistan, immediately after its creation till today, this constant tussle between English and Urdu and this constant conflict between the two in terms of their positioning has been found, and even to date it has not been, resolved. Though from the very beginning, the policies, language policies have favored Urdu language because of ideological and national purposes, the status of English, however, has not been, reduced in any ways. Almost same kind of positioning is found in the educational policies of Pakistan as well. And despite frequent reminders in different policies from time to time, to give importance and significance to Urdu, as a medium of instruction in schools, the social acceptance for, English as a medium of instruction has always been higher as compared to Urdu, and it has always been considered as a marker of social status. This English and Urdu controversy, my dear students, has always continued through the history of Pakistan, and even in the modern times where, we find this struggle continuing. The pressures on Urdu have increased. Why? Because, the emergence of English as a global language and its, the increase in its use as a lingua franca, this is an added pressure on Urdu to retain its position. So, the question then arises in all this context, where this kind of relationship of being competitors in this social setup and in this linguistic setup already, operates. The question arises, what are the future possibilities? Which one out of these is going to be at the top in future? And which one of these is going to be related to certain functions in social life? In what ways? I think it is not very easy to, to predict all this. However, the spread of, English with the unprecedented speed, gives us some clues that what kind of, future, English language would have in Pakistan. I would really appreciate you to think about this relationship and the status of each of these languages and their placement in relation to each other in the Pakistani context, because you, being the youth of Pakistan, have certain aspirations and inspirations that are related to the positioning of these languages.